All right, traders, here's the latest setup on NVIDIA. Earlier, we called the VWAP rejection short spot on. Price collapsed from above 136, and it knifed down through that VWAP and key pivots and just heavy volume the whole way down. And we took out 134.71, 133.82, and even pummeled below 133.39 here. So here's what's developing right now. We can take a look at these charts and see exactly where we are. You've got this volume climax down here, and right, so right in there you see that volume climax, and we just seen the highest volume of the day on a long bar with a long tail, and there's a potential exhaustion signal suggesting that the panic selling might be done for now. So we've got a support zone. Price dipped below the 133.39 pivot and immediately snapped back up above it. So that would be the central pivot line here. So this is what we're watching for, is a repeat of this little bump back up above, right? So where it came up through here. So we're looking to see, is this exhaustion or is this going to be part of a bigger trend move lower, right? The news on the Treasury bills was not great, but you know, let's see if we've got a reference point here for a potential reversal trade or a scalp that's long above that pivot line. So, you know, if we get up above here again and find support, a scalp that would get us up toward that overhead resistance, that overhead volume by price, and back up toward that volume weighted average price, which is sitting there pretty close to that pivot line. So lots of stuff right there suggesting we might get a snap back up there if we get a base that forms down here. Now, you know, the trend context, you know, we are bearish intraday. So we've got this move. It doesn't matter. You know, what happened back here, that doesn't matter anymore. We don't care because we've obviously got a big reversal in place, and now it's time to figure out, you know, what is the current trend? Current trend is down. So any move that we're looking at above here that goes and snaps back would be a counter trend trade. So we're still bearish. We're well below the VWAP. If we have that counter trend trade on, you know, we would have to see it regain 135.60 in order for the trend to be reversed and moving back higher again. So if we're going to go long, what we're going to do is do it with tight stops. I've got sort of two tactical trading ideas here. We've got a bearish continuation trade where if we get a break below 133.39, so if we come down and we break this line right here, then what we want to see is increased volume. So we want to see this down here picking up. So if we're popping down through there and volume starts to increase, that would indicate that we've got a bearish continuation maybe to the downside, and we would target 132.75 or maybe even 132.20 based on you know, how volume is, and put a stop up above 133.82 or just above this recent consolidation, you know, so anywhere up in there. So right now you can see it's actually broke through 133.39, and if you are short, you can already you know, start looking to see, you know, are we coming down towards that profit objective. Then the other thing that we can look at is an exhaustion reversal. Now this would be an aggressive trade. We would want to see a confirmation bar that gets us up above 133.82 with decreasing red volume. So you want to see this red volume start to be green volume, or not, you know, not have such a large amount of sell side volume showing up on the bottom of the chart. So if that happens, then we would look at a target up above at about 134.71. So right up in here, right at that line that I drew there on the blue dashed line, not the, so 134.71 would be a first target, and target 2 would be up near that VWAP. So up at the confluence of the volume weighted average price and that blue pivot line. The stop on that, I would say, below the tail of the recent bar down at 133. But again, that's a counter trend, you know, counter trend trade, and with a stop, being down all the way in here, I think that I'm just going to focus on sticking with the trend. So if you're going to go counter trend on the long side, we would want to scale smaller and look for confirming volume and price behavior. Don't want to guess about bottoms. If price rolls down under 133.39 again, then we'll probably see momentum continuing lower. So that is my 2 cents on what I think is going on in Nvidia. So the whole market, of course, has rolled pretty hard, and I think this news on the treasuries was just the kind of thing that everybody was waiting for, and it's probably going to continue into the end of the day. So let's look for trend continuation moves in the unlikely event that we get that pop higher. You know what I'm looking for. All right, you guys have a great rest of your trading day, and I will see you in the war room.